Here's the problem with you having a fly near you.
What's that?
I've created a device. You won't believe this. You get into this big porta potty, right?
Big porta potty.
Yep.
Do I have to go down the porta potty into the shitter?
No, you just stand in the porta potty, right?
And then flush myself down the toilet.
Here's the invention though. You're gonna love this, all right? So you get in there, right? It's daytime. You have to stay there for 7 hours, and when you come out, it's nighttime.
Man, those are some bad enchiladas.
Spectacular. The time travel of when you come out, now it's dark outside. So
those are some bad enchiladas.
Oh, I mean, is Jason gonna kill us now? Jesus.
Uh-huh.
Damn enchiladas. Well, listen, that's the closest we'll come to creating anything like he does in this movie. So.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Now, if you haven't noticed, folks, we're talking about The Fly from 1986, David Cronenberg's remake. Yeah.
The Fly.
The Fly.
That does have Ashton Kutcher in it, right?
What damn movie? What damn? You didn't watch? Don't tell me. Butterfly Effect?
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh no. I'm surprised you didn't watch the Human Caterpillar Centipede.
Human Centipede, and I refuse to watch that one.
I've heard bad things.
I've heard disgusting things. Okay.
All right. Let me preface to the audience. I would say preface. It's spelled preface, but it's actually preface.
You can say it either way, I think.
Yeah. Let me preface to the audience. Anytime we go down the sci-fi route, the non-horror route, it's always a hit or miss with Nick Arcana because...
Well, you did the same thing, actually.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Remember, so when I was in Wyoming for the 3 months I was there, we decided to do and this was unintentional, by the way. We decided to do, it was supposed to be just a plain old action movie month. I chose a Tommy Lee Jones movie called The Hunted.
Oh, God.
Vic here watched The Hunt.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, but you can see, come on now. Wait. Mistaking The Fly and Butterfly Effect. I mean, those are like...
The fly's in the name.
Oh, come on. The Hunt and The Hunted, that's a very honest thing. Now, that was a happy mistake, though, because I actually like The Hunt more than The Hunted, so...
And then we recorded, like 2-3 other hunt-based movies?
It's one of the worst months ever for our podcast. The audience, which is used to horror stuff, was like, huh? The Hunt? They're like, they're trying to kill the audience. Well, we weren't really quite the marketing people back then. But that said, point being, we go down the sci-fi route, the action route. It's hit and miss. So I'm going to preface with that. Nick Arcana, self-admitted, not the biggest sci-fi fan. This is a man who watched Terminator 2 and just like, nah. Terminator, nah. If I showed him Alien, he might be like, nah. These are
well, I don't like Alien.
Well, it's a sci-fi, that's why.
Well, there's that. I always end up falling asleep at some point. I don't know why. I never liked the Alien movies.
I think there's just more thing where you're just very sleepy. So
the thing, which is a sci-fi, is still one of the best Alien movies I've ever seen, and it's probably the only one I will rewatch besides Predator. Predator's an action. And I
don't know how you can love The Thing and not love Alien, because they're like two peas in the same pod, basically. They're compared all the time. They came out at similar time periods. They're very similar on the practical effects, the story, everything. I don't know how you don't like... Well, here's what we'll do one time. We're going to tape your eyelids open, sit you down. You're going to down 5 Mountain Dews. We're going to make sure you don't fall asleep during Alien, sir. Uh-huh. Yeah. Because like Sinners, the second, and like The Fly also, the second half of Alien is definitely better than the first half. But it's a great movie.
To be fair, we probably should finish off reviewing the Predator movies and go into the Alien movies. Because last I checked, I think there's an Alien vs. Predator actually slated to come out.
Another one?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And you also got Predator Badlands about to come out by the same guy who did Prey and Killer of Killers. Isn't that the one? Is that the one where Ripley is an android technically, or like a clone of herself?
That's Resurrection.
Oh, that one's Resurrection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, folks. All we've said is basically Alien Month is coming up soon. We've already done Predator and Predator 2, so with that one, we just got to knock out Predator 3.
We'll just call Predators.
And then The Predator. Oh.
Yeah, we can leave that one alone. Just jump to Prey.
That's not how reviewing series works, sir. You have to.
Well, then we have to also review AVP
No,
and Prometheus.
No. AVP though is like a different series, though. I feel like.
Still canon to an extent.
Not this. I mean, all right, we'll do one baby step at a time. We still. I mean, let's be honest. We still have Children of the Corn movies we haven't done. We still have. We tend to start series and not finish them. So.
Yeah, we only have 4 more Children of the Corn movies to do.
Listen, life is short, so. You think about that. You think about Children of the Corn movies. There's so many other things to explore. It's hard to be like Children of the Corn.
You know what's better than Children of the Corn? Screamboat. Popeye the Slayer Man. But then again, you're talking about Children of the Corn. It's not exactly a hard bar to jump over.
Life is short. It's hard to waste time on some of these movies. As I get older, bad movies, if there's got to be like a redeemable quality.
I can tell you the redeemable quality about Screamboat is ridiculous as shit.
Oh, God. I'm mad you paid for that movie. I'll always be mad at you for paying for that movie.
I didn't just pay for the movie. I bought the movie, sir.
I don't understand.
I don't have to pay for it a second time. I just got to watch it.
All of your thoughts on every movie ever will always be clouded with the guy that thought of, this is the guy that paid bought Screamboat. There's always a filter on your movie thoughts. I'm like, oh, this guy did buy Screamboat.
Well, I also bought Popeye the Slayer Man.
Oh,
and the redeemable quality on that one, redhead. And a low rent Melissa Barrera, who low key looks better than original Melissa Barrera.
Folks, this is what I'm saying. When Nick's in his Playhouse, which is like really bad movies and then some good movies, picture perfect reviewer. But in the sci-fi world, I don't know.
Oh, this is gonna be shit. This is not gonna end well for anybody.
Well, don't worry, folks. I'm here to guide it because I'm on the side of The Fly. I think it's a good movie. I echo the rest of the world who's given this a 7.69 to be. Why? Mostly because it's a great showcase of special effects. Now, one thing me and Nick say is that the reason I watch the movie is because these damn horror trivia we be doing. Question about the fly always comes up in every horror trivia game, and I'm always like, I don't know. The be afraid, be very afraid tagline. I didn't know that was a fly.
I still don't even know why that's even the tagline for the movie. I understand she says it in the movie, but again, why?
I think some of maybe an issue you had, which I kind of had an issue too, but I didn't have it on the rewatch, was that I think horror trivia and just the general reputation made me think that I was walking into a horror movie. I thought maybe he becomes a fly and goes around killing people. I thought it was something like that. This is really a sci-fi drama romance, I would say. There's really at no point any horror element here. And I don't know why it's in horror trivia. It should be like in the ballpark of more like sci-fi type stuff, I feel like.
Well, remember, there was the one question. It was Godzilla. That was in there.
What the hell?
Again, I think both of us even asked ourselves, that's classified as horror? When?
But even this tagline, again, be afraid, be very afraid. That's clearly advertising a horror movie.
Right.
Why? Be afraid of what? Like once he becomes a fly, he smartly just stays in the thing and he tells the girl, stay away or I'll hurt you. At no point is Jeff Goldblum like thinking he's going to go out and like harm the world. So it's really, honestly, the truth is, it's a depressing movie. It's a sad movie. At the end, I'm just left like I was saying the other day when we reviewed Sinners the other day. The other day I was saying that, more serious movies, I don't feel like they have the same rewatchability sometimes. This movie kind of is the same thing where it's like the ending's too dark and sad for me to really want to rewatch it. I just think that ultimately I came away thinking that if you're working on some kind of science experiment, science invention, whatever it is, you have to let go of any kind of love life. You have to accept loneliness, move on from the idea that you get to have your cake and eat it too. You can't fall in love and then let that make you do stupid things with your science, because then you doom yourself and you probably maybe rob the world of one of the greatest inventions of all time.
So I'm not a fan of Gina Davis in this movie.
Well, damn it. Listen, I'm going to talk to the clouds if I have to. You ain't got to respond. I'm talking to the clouds. Look, Gina Davis is...
No, she's a good actress, and I liked her in Beetlejuice. I don't know what else she's done. I probably have seen a lot of things she was in. I just don't pick up on her.
All right, forget about aliens. Have you watched Long Kiss Goodnight?
Nope.
Oh my god. Okay, now that. It's not something we can really review per se because it's a full-blown action comedy, but that is, that's actually Samuel Jackson's favorite role of his. Is Mitch in Long Kiss Goodnight. He's like, that's my favorite character he's
Is
playing.
that where him having to say motherfucker at least once in his whole career
Of course.
comes in from? Okay.
Well, the motherfucker thing started in Pulp Fiction, I would say.
Okay.
But he was in full blown with Long Kiss Goodnight. That you got to watch that. But Gina Davis was doing dramas, comedies, but then in the mid '90s she started doing action movies. She did Long Kiss Goodnight, and then not Treasure Island, but some kind of movie with a similar title of Treasure Island, like pirates and stuff.
Treasure Planet? Did
No.
she voice a character in Treasure Planet?
No, it's some Treasure Island pirate movie. As your fly machine comes to life and is transporting something.
That's right. Good kitty. Eat up. Your
Oh,
lunch.
okay. Well, yeah. So, Cutthroat Island. I want to say it's called Cutthroat Island.
Cutthroat Island? Okay.
Yeah, apparently it was a movie that didn't work, but she was going for being like an action. Long Kiss Goodnight, she's like basically James Bond in female form. So, but here earlier in her career, I feel like she was doing more traditional dramatic type roles. So okay, we talked about this before. We'll just get into it. The scene opens up the movie opens with literally Jeff Goldblum saying like, "Hey, I've created the best thing in the world. You should come see it."
Yeah.
Now, he knows she's a journalist.
Yes.
He convinces her to come to his place based on the idea that he's offering you're going to see the most wonderful thing, the most biggest going to change humanity ever thing. And he sells her on this thing.
I'm going to interrupt you for a quick second to say the same thing I said in Damn when we reviewed Tales from the Dark Side. If a man takes you to an abandoned factory,
Oh yeah.
don't go with him. She had a car nonetheless. She
Yeah.
should have just dropped him off, said, I don't know, and leave.
See, I think what you're doing though is I think you're applying what makes sense today to what made sense back then. Because I just finished watching Friday the 13th where the girl's like hitchhiking all the way with random people to Crystal Lake. It's like you ever get in a car with mysterious people, it's kind of in the same mold to me as like going to some stranger's house. It's like, don't do that. But back then they just didn't have like, they didn't grow up in movies and society didn't have the same sort of thing. Now also, by the way, to be fair to her, she's not going there with the idea of like hot date. She's like literally like, oh, this guy's saying that she should be less able to be manipulated, but she's thinking I'm going to get the biggest story, whatever, based on what he's saying. And Jeff Goldblum's also a very charming dude.
Well, again, charming, as you brought up, he probably is not putting the cues together that, journalists going to want to write about this if it comes out to be such a good thing, which I assumed originally that's what he wanted, was her to maybe put something out there. Maybe he could get more of a bigger budget if someone reads the story and thinks that sounds like a good idea. Let me invest in it.
I think there's two things going on in this opening scene. I think that one thing is, I think genuinely, because he says it, he doesn't really get out the house much. So he's actually been working on this by himself, let's say hours amongst hours, just focused 100%, tunnel vision about getting this done. I think he's at this science party. I think he sees attractive woman that he's attracted to, and he's like, listen, I've been putting in so much time. I want to meet a girl. I think literally the story here is like his loneliness and his like it's starting to get to him a little bit, and that's the price of working on something that probably takes this much time to do. So he's kind of like, whatever I have to tell her, because it can't be that, because again, he's showing her to kind of impress her specifically, but it doesn't seem like it, but not in a way of like, okay, now go write this story. It's like he's just trying to impress her, it feels like.
Yeah, but then
In fact, when the reality comes back that she's like, oh, I'm gonna write this story, then he's like, wait a minute.
That wasn't the plan.
She doesn't like me. She's here for the story. It's like it all falls apart. But to the point, both of them are. There's nothing wrong with. Well, there's two things I say. He should know that she's there for the story.
Right.
At the same time, once he does like kind of go like, please don't. At first, she is kind of just like, well, fuck you. Like, I'm gonna go do. Like, she should probably kind of be like, okay, well, let's work together. Now, he comes with a way better option for her career eventually.
Actually, before we continue on with this, so he brings up that he's doing teleportation, and he called it a telepod. Now, now she acts like she doesn't understand what he's talking about, or she thinks, okay, maybe this guy's just a quack, so I'm going to make jokes about it.
Yeah,
which is fair, but it does legitimately when she sees it, it feels like she actually didn't believe teleportation and all that. And I'm just got to bring up, this woman allegedly was a science major where she met her ex-boyfriend who was one of her teachers. And yet she still had issues believing or accepting stuff like this. Like the whole point of science is to eventually come up with new ways to make life better, easier, or just to learn something.
Yeah, I do wish they would have made her a little bit more open, wise, smarter in these opening scenes. Because, right, the fact she's a science major means she should be open to it. Although, I mean, granted, he wasn't lying. Literally what he's showing her is, like, the biggest thing in the history of the world. Well, yeah. Like, this is not creating America Online. This is like, holy cow, this is like teleportation? I mean, now we already know that it was already going to happen anyways, because we know that Jason Voorhees was going to spearhead the teleportation revolution. So Jason was already ahead of the game.
So what you're saying is Jason actually took a pill that allowed him to teleport.
No, I mean, Jason he didn't have to do all this, working in the lab, all that. He had
we know of.
He just had it, man. He came out the grave with that teleportation. So, I mean, horportation would live on past this movie. But the idea now, okay, so she leaves. He's like, oh my God. He follows her to her place of work. Her boss, rightfully so, is like, he's a quack.
Yeah. Her boss is her ex-boyfriend, by the way.
Who
is a jackass.
Shows up in her apartment in her shower.
Yep.
And she's really like, how'd you get in? Again, 80s, different time. This is creepy behavior.
Well, again, we're supposed to assume that if she's a science major, and me personally, I believe a journalist should be smart.
She would know how to change locks.
Exactly. Know how to change locks, or at the very least, get someone to change them for her.
This is the most egregious thing since the killer being in the closet in Hard Eyes, all right? Since last week, this is the most egregious thing.
Whoa. Damn,
No, don't do it. Don't defend that piece of trash.
I will defend it. You know why? Because Jordana Brewster, okay, that's the only reason I'll defend it. Still a beautiful woman, and she used her beauty to maximize Jason's teleportation powers into that closet.
That movie's going to age like Valentine. Like 2 years, you're going to watch it, and you're going to be like, what the fuck?
Well, to be fair, I never cared for Valentine. You did.
Well, yeah. It's going to be exactly like Valentine. Like 5 years, I'm going to be like, hey. You're going to be like, hey, like, I remember liking this movie, Hard Eyes. Let's revisit it. And you're going to watch it and be like, what the fuck? No, but anyways, that's a different podcast.
I was about to say, we're going off the rails again.
That's a podcast for 5 years from now.
Did you just drink too much fucking caffeine at this point?
Probably. All right. So, okay, yeah. So, follows her to her job. Now, listen. For men out there,
don't be creepy.
It's been talked about for years, though. Like, you know, when you want to approach a woman, how do you win her over? What do you say? What are the right words? What's the best pickup line? What's the best one-liner? What can you say to win her over? Now, Gina Davis' character, she's like, I'm taking this story. If my boss doesn't want it, I'm going to this paper, that paper. By the end of the day, it's going to be published everywhere. And Jeff Goldblum's character is like, listen, I got to like slow her down and I got to convince her. And he uses a technique that I haven't seen before. But it's very... Wait, no. Let me introduce it first, then you can do it. But I got to get it out first. It's an amazing technique. And... All right, Nick, do you want to talk about what the technique is?
So he tells her, I got a magic word. It's going to solve all our problems. And then he goes, ooey gooey fudgy wudgy brownies.
Wait, okay. You didn't watch Butterfly Effect. What movie did you watch? That's the Teletubbies where you didn't...
No, it's how I got my wife, okay?
You told her ooey gooey fudgy fudgy?
Yes, because I then took her home and I made them. And she's married me ever since.
I don't even know what that means, right? Does that mean you baked her cookies? I don't understand
I made her ooey gooey fudgy wudgy brownies.
Oh. Okay. But that's second to this line, though, which would have been before you were born anyway. So this is the first, this is the OG line.
That's right.
Now, this line hits every woman's heart.
Maybe I've seen this movie and just never thought about it.
I think so. This is built in your subconscious. But he says, cheeseburger.
And then she sleeps with him.
No. But sort of. Not really. She sleeps with him scientifically, but she sleeps with his idea. Too much caffeine. But
well, no, she sleeps
does.
with him first and then sleeps with the idea.
No, she sleeps with the idea at the fast food. Now, we cut to the fast food place, which means that how much does this woman like cheeseburgers? Because her plan was to go expose the story, and now he's like, cheeseburger. And she's like, you cut to her eating a burger and fries.
It must be a really good cheeseburger.
Now, this is my hint, though, that she actually does.
It must be the cheeseburger from the menu.
This is my hint, though, that she actually does like him, though. Because that's clearly strictly just, oh, I kind of like this guy. Let me hear him out. Now, what he presents at the fast food place, that's what he should have been thinking all along. Was I need one journalist to follow the entire process, write a book eventually, and that, for her, that's like, oh my God, this will make my entire career. That should have been the original pitch. It's like, why would you want like the small little crumb
tabloid,
the crumb at the beginning when you can have the whole pie if you just wait? And she's like, let me think about it. But it's like, she's quickly like, wait a minute. He's basically offering me millions of dollars because that book, whenever that book is written, is going to be a New York Times, Egyptian Times bestseller. I mean, it's a worldwide bestseller. So, all right. So for me,
and for people who don't know, books are things that would have pages.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know now you got your tablets that has reading material on them, but
it's a sad state of affairs where we're at with books. But I have to be honest. So this is where me and Nick differ. These early scenes with them just like, experimenting with the steak and, just having fun and the journey. I kind of, it's like Sinners from Dusk Till Dawn, where I would have been okay with just like a straightforward dramatic romance where we're just following the process of him furthering the invention. Like, I know it's going to go off the rails into like full-blown body horror transformation stuff, but I like them together enough to where I do kind of feel like, okay, this could be a cool, fun romantic comedy type sci-fi romantic comedy. The ex-boyfriend can like cause them problems. He can like try to steal the invention. Like something's happened there, but it's a fun vibe. But I know it's going to go off the rails at some point. Because this is a David Cronenberg movie.
Right. I will say, unfortunately, I feel bad for that first baboon. Okay, he tried to transfer the baboon over. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you, but when I first saw it, I assumed that, the machine took the information, obviously, of like the skin and flesh and furs, then the muscles, the tissue, and all the organs.
Yeah.
So I assumed when it put it back together after the transportation, it put the skin and all that on the inside while all the muscle and sinew on the outside.
Ah.
That's what I assumed.
Interesting.
But then, luckily I still watched the first half of this movie a second time because that's the only part of this movie that never clicked with me.
Yeah.
He mentions that that his machine, for some reason, I do love the line, computers are dumb. Because back in the day, computers are dumb. You yourself had to still input all the information.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the computer could not dignify skin, flesh, and fur. It could only take the information from the muscle and the sinew.
Yeah.
So when it put the baboon back together, it did not have the flesh and stuff because it didn't take that information of the flesh and skin.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, the process of like experimenting with the baboon, experimenting with different things, the steak, it's like that stuff is actually kind of interesting. And, but again, it goes back to the original. Again, the idea of the story, I think, is that once he allows himself, because they do strictly start off as a business relationship. She's just there to observe and take notes and interview him and stuff. And then she's like, hey, you're cute, or you look good, blah, blah, blah. And they start sleeping together. And that's where things go off the rails because
then he gets drunk.
But also she
She's still dealing with the ex.
She gets sent a make believe makeshift cover of the magazine, basically exposing him. So she goes to confront that. But this is where it's like, I still don't, even drunk, I can't believe that something so serious as him doing the actual human experiment, that he's just like, what are we waiting for?
Well,
I know the story has to do it, but I need something stronger than just him drinking, because it's like, man, this is the whole thing here by doing this thing.
So the problem with being emotionally distraught is, mentally you're not fully there.
Yeah.
Add alcohol to that, it makes it even worse. But at the same time, I'm surprised he didn't jump into the machine himself the minute the baboon went through perfectly.
I just feel like, even with the baboon, wasn't their thing though? It's like essentially that they have to send the lab results out for weeks, right? Wait till it comes back, till they're going to check the insides, they'll make sure everything's clear. That's that same exact night, I believe, where she's talking about, okay, let's go on vacation for a few weeks while we wait, and then they get the Chinese food and then she leaves.
Okay.
So like the whole thing is the baboon comes out physically looking okay, but they're gonna get lab results showing like his inner blood work to see like, okay, but his stuff messed up. So he's like, at the start of the night, he's like, okay, let's wait for that and then we'll do that. But by the end of the night, 5 glasses of wine in or whatever like that, being jealous of the girl. By the way, he's actually just talked himself in the idea that she's cheating on him. He's just like, something about the table, under the table. Like he's convinced himself.
Maybe I feel like this kind of character would have been better if it wasn't Jeff Goldblum, for one reason. I mean, Jeff Goldblum, good actor. As I said, I do like the acting to an extent. I just don't really like the script, I guess is the best way to say it. The words written in the script. But this kind of character feels like this should not have been Jeff Goldblum, at least not at the start. Maybe after everything, after the teleportation, it was Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
But this one feels like it should be someone who is, I guess, best way to put it, is someone who's technically fighting out of their league, trying to get this beautiful woman.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So, and it's, I guess, either an average-looking man or somewhat below average-looking man.
Somebody who's basically, yeah, I think the idea of the character is that there's two things. There's the thing of like him being so lonely by just focusing on science that this girl's giving him attention now, so now he's like falling head over heels. So he's so in love with her at this point that the jealousy drives him over the cliff. And that's like a common story. But there's another thing too with that. It's like the idea of that sometimes you can be a genius and it's at the expense of something else. So maybe he's that smart about science, but then when dealing with a girl or just anything social, he's like no intelligence at all. There's a complete moron basically. So there's two things that going on. I agree with saying it's just that, man, I can't imagine anybody other than Jeff Goldblum doing this, because what Jeff Goldblum does is like he maintains he's so likable that it kind of maintains like a sympathy and likability even as he transforms. Whereas like I don't know if anybody else would like have that sort of like sometimes like smart characters sometimes are unlikable on screen if they're like a genius. It's like you're smart, but are you like still kind of likable? He still has like everyday man likability, and that might be gone if it was like somebody who was just like looked like the kid from Christine. So it's probably who you're thinking, like Arnold from Christine.
Probably.
But that character maybe not be the same likability that Jeff Goldblum has. Either way, he gets in the pod. Now
a fly flies on.
Now let's rewind though. So if the fly didn't go in there though, are we all good? Like, is it?
Yes.
Like, so basically, there's nothing. There was just literally the fly screwed the whole thing up.
Yes, because the machine took it all into consideration and then spliced them together. And for some reason, fly DNA is much stronger than human DNA.
Yeah.
I guess that's the only other thing about this movie that doesn't make sense to me, because I don't think this is fully explained on how is the fly DNA from such a tiny organism so much stronger than human DNA. I feel like the human DNA would have overridden that.
I think it's the weakness of computers, because I think that he even says he's typing the computer to find out what happened. And I think they do in a way where like his first guess is the idea of like, did the human absorb the fly? And the computer's like, no. they fuse into one thing. He's like, oh shit. But his first instinct was like, yeah, like, okay, the fly just absorbed into, because yeah, you're thinking like, okay, they're not going to fuse together in one thing. It's going to be like, okay, maybe his baby toe has a hint of fly in it or something like that. That's really what it should be. It shouldn't be like the fly's small little thing overpowered all of him.
Now, if maybe a whole horde of flies flew in,
Yeah,
then
I agree. That's like what's kind of brilliant, but kind of makes it not make sense. That it had to be something that went there that was so small that as he was doing it, he didn't notice. If it was anything bigger, he just stops because he's like, "Oh, get up, baboon, get out the thing." By being a fly, it's the one animal that can go in where he doesn't see it, and then it actually happens. So the irony is, like, anything bigger would have been like, "Oh shit, I'm about to fuse with a baboon. Let me." So that was the thing. That it had to be something very like you couldn't see. So okay, well, then
spider.
Then we cut to him doing 85 push-ups.
85 push-ups.
He's becoming Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Really.
So there is a horror Spider-Man short
Right.
where at the end of it, Spider-Man actually eats Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, so you've seen it or heard of it?
Absolutely not.
I've seen it.
I'm intrigued. It sounds interesting. So.
I've seen it. But either way, it's just he does the 85 push-ups. He does pull-ups. He does acrobats. He's doing the acrobats. He's running on the ceiling.
We probably got like 10 minutes up. That's good.
He's running on the ceiling, and then he turns into a giant-ass fly and eats everybody. Is that fast enough?
Yeah. All right. So for me, okay, both me and Nick are, this is probably going to make us lose our horror card also, but we're not too experienced with David Cronenberg. We've heard the name a lot, obviously.
A lot, yeah.
I look at his filmography. He has one called, I guess, Videodrome.
Videodrome.
That's a big one.
Isn't he the one who also did Society?
I believe so. The Dead Zone. I've seen The Dead Zone. Dead Ringers.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of big stuff, especially in the 80s. But I've realized a lot of his plots are like sort of human science related, animal science related things. Like he has
Did
a very
he do
specific
Reanimator?
thing.
Or was that someone else?
No, I believe that's somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's highly praised. He still has movies coming out now, even like he had a movie come out 2 months ago. So yeah, this is kind of his jazz basically. And the second half of the movie, I would say, okay, now that we've taken the Band-Aid off the idea of this is not going to be a dramatic romance, it's going to be now a tragic body horror type thing.
Body horror, because now he's slowly turning into a fly after he realizes what's going on. Because we have the 30 minutes of him just being a jackass.
I didn't like the whole hooker stuff, like the
Neither did I.
going there getting her, because I'm like, okay, I'm still buying the idea that he's still in love with Gina Davis and that there's still like a love story element, but him having sex with a hooker in the middle of it kind of is like, oh, what are you doing, man? You're still now. Slowly, the insect part of the taking of his brain is kind of like, I like where he's talking about the insect politics, because the idea of the insect brain part of his brain doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's only the human side that's like bringing the idea of like morality and I love this person, blah blah. But the fly part's like, oh, just get what you want, get what you need, basically, and like you gotta have sex with this hooker to get it. So
Right. Well, and the other thing I'm not a big fan about this back half of the movie is, I'm going to say, the ex-boyfriend coming in, and now all of a sudden he's not a jackass anymore. He's an actual good guy. I'm like, that should have been something we saw throughout the movie.
He's not a good guy. He's still a well, he's a jackass, but it's the thing we talk about with sinners. It's like, probably in the world he's a jackass, but probably deep inside, he probably does love Gina Davis' character. So he's gonna do whatever he can to protect her, even though maybe he's still a jackass. But he's probably still literally wants to be with her. So
I say
the movie does a good job of not. At no point do they like make it seem like she's going to get back together with him. So I didn't take anything from the ending of like she's like she clearly cares way more about Jeff Goldblum's character throughout the movie, especially by the end. Like I don't buy that. I feel like he's there to help her, but it's only as like an ex to maybe a friend, but not I feel anything still towards you, and that's important. So they didn't give him that. And then also, by the way, whatever bad he did, you can't say he doesn't pay for it at the end. I mean, did you see what happened to his damn hand and his foot? That's got to be. Imagine looking at your foot as it
child's play.
Imagine watching your foot as it melts in a goo and you're seeing it.
Child's play. But can we talk about this ending actually? Because the whole ending is Jeff Goldblum wants to then fuse all three of them, him, Gina Davis, and the baby Gina Davis is carrying.
Which is like, I can't believe he thinks that she's going to be okay with the idea of that. Her hearing that, she's like, what in the world?
Obviously, he's not in his right mind. He still has fly brain in the brain because he's not thinking, or he probably is and just doesn't want to admit it, that the fly DNA is still going to meld in, and they're all of them are going to be a fly in a sense. He's not going to be human again. He's just going to be an amalgamation, like a grafted amalgamation of fly.
So the machine says something about the idea of like fusing with another human will help out. At least I took it as basically the idea of that. Right now he's going to be like, he's basically like 90% fly, 10% human. But if he continually fuses with more human beings, it will not reverse it, but I guess more human will start to overtake the fly DNA. But my question is, why wasn't his plan initially just to fuse with the ex-boyfriend? Because the ex-boyfriend's there.
Right.
He has control of him. Throw his ass in the pod and fuse with him and just see what happens.
Something tells me something tells me he actually wanted to kill the ex-boyfriend. He just does not like this guy. I mean, obviously it's the love triangle bit where he's my villain. I'm trying to get with this girl. He's my villain because he's in the way.
Yeah, but I think that what they show it till the very, very end, they show that it's still 20% is still the human Jeff Goldblum character.
At least until he rips out and he shows he's a giant ass fly.
No, even then. So I'll tell you why. Because with the ex-boyfriend, I think he intentionally, he's like, I'm going to stop you from interfering, but I'm not going to kill you. He does because he can easily at that point be like, I'm going to do this onto your face, and your face is going to melt, and you're a dead man. He does two very specific things of like, I'm taking away your ability to walk so you don't mess this up for me, but he's still. And then the very end, of course, when he comes out as, let's call him Fly Ghoul, I don't know what you want to call him at the end. He has the gun, he's like, kill me.
Oh, you're talking about when he somehow, how in the world did he graft himself with the damn machine?
I really think this computer was the problem. The computer messed up with the fly fusion, and then it messed up with this.
Because it needs to be able to, in order for this to work, it's supposed to be able to suck up something of the machine then, in order to fuse the fly with the machine.
Yeah.
So we get like a termafly.
I think that he comes out as like looking like the Blob basically. But again, the fact that he's like killed me with the gun, that means it's still Jeff Goldblum, and I think that was sad. Basically.
Well, let's face it, it's also, I'm sure, being grafted with a piece of machinery is probably painful.
Yeah, but also I think that I think Jeff Goldblum's character, the thing about it is, like I said, even though once you find out he has a kid, I think maybe that gives him more of a survival thing of like, let me try to live somehow. But for the most part, he kind of resigns to the idea of like,
he was going to kill the kid by fusing with it.
Well, yeah, one big happy family. But yeah, he was desperate at the end. But for the most part, he did resign himself to just lay low and die. So
either way,
he was like, this is like a cancer that's gonna eat me up and I'll die. He tells her, get away from me. And then that's it. So I can see where, I know I didn't hit you this way, but for a lot of people, it's a very emotional, sad ending. And Gina Davis in the second half of the movie does have some solid dramatic moments. But I still say Jeff Goldblum should have won some kind of award, because throughout the transformation, he does a lot of really cool, nervous, weird ticks and stuff as the Fly. It's a good physical performance, just saying. So.
Well, before we end this, I got the alternate ending to talk about, because you brought up that there was no way the ex-boyfriend should still be alive after the amount of trauma he has.
Don't tell me.
So the ex-boyfriend's alive.
Damn it.
And this, again, the alternate ending, not canon, so we haven't seen the second movie. We don't know how that ends.
And we won't watch the second movie.
Either way, so the ex-boyfriend's alive. She had the abortion to get rid of Jeff's baby.
Okay.
But she is pregnant again with the ex-boyfriend's baby because her and the ex-boyfriend are together.
Ah. Oh.
There's probably a reason why it's a alternate ending. Cause
I was wrong. Yeah, the audience would hate that.
Yeah, because I'm guessing the canon ending, she must have kept the baby because that's the baby we're following in the second movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, could you have had some kind of end note that was more happy than what we got? Because the ending we got is just literally her crying in the movie ends.
Well, I mean, in the alternate ending, she was smiling, but she was also having a dream that her baby was turning into a butterfly.
Probably was. So, anyways.
And that's where I got the butterfly effect.
Well, as the battery begins to die, let me get some closing thoughts.
Hurry up.
I understand why people see this movie so fondly because the special effects are amazing. And if you're on board with Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum as a romance, then you do like the whole plight, basically. You're on board with them as characters. I think with Nick, maybe he didn't get on board with the romance as much as I did. So then he's like, hey, what the hell is this? And also Nick just hates the ex-boyfriend so much, which I'm like, okay. I think he got his comeuppance with the damn melted hand face, all right? But for me, I get it. I enjoy the movie. I enjoy the special effects. I do think it's a downer, though. I would say it's not going to have the rewatchability for me just because it's too much of a downer. The ending just leaves you being like, man, I wish for happier times where they could just enjoy a cheeseburger and fries and he could actually come up with this amazing invention. Instead, we get this horrible ending that doesn't benefit society, doesn't benefit them, doesn't benefit anybody.
Well, we don't know it doesn't benefit because we haven't watched The Fly 2. Anyway, overall...
It's not canon.
Overall, the movie for me is kind of what Vic said about the beginning of Sinners. It is kind of a bore fest. Yes, he's right. I don't care about the romance between the two characters. I don't really care about the characters. However, I guess the best part of the movie is definitely what the David Cronenberg was going for, and that is the effects. Effects of the fly is great. Effects of the machine when it teleports, it is great. The baboon is adorable.
What?
I just wanted to give that baboon lovin's. Also, what happened to the baboon? We don't see it after Jeff Goldblum probably ate
stumbled into Camp Crystal Lake, and Jason ate the baboon.
I think Jeff Goldblum ate the baboon.
Muffins the baboon. Oh, yeah, actually, you're right to that. So.
But overall, I can definitely... It's one of those movies I can see why people like it, but maybe it's just definitely not my cup of tea. I'm not a smart person, so sci-fi is not my cup of tea in any long run.
We're going to get you watching Aliens. You're going to come on board the sci-fi train. You just got to be exposed to the right stuff. I feel like you watch, as a kid, you watch like 5 bad sci-fi movies and it put in your brain, like, this is not for me. As an adult, you will enjoy sci-fi.
You want to know where I watch sci-fi movies at?
Sci-Fi Channel.
Yes.
But those are terrible movies, though. That's like...
actually, Carnosaur. I still like that one.
Oh,
haven't seen that one in like 10 years, but I still like it.
Nick grew up on Return Living Dead and Mechatropolis, so straight to the Sci-Fi Channel. So that's his first about. He's like, I don't like sci-fi movies.
I don't want to watch that shit again.
All right.
Overall, folks, y'all don't have to go home. Y'all do have to stay away from a man who's saying, "Hey, come back to my factory where I am working on a teleportation pod, and then I will turn you into a fly."
But you can always meet your date for a cheeseburger and fries and hear them out. So, but
just don't become a fly.
And get tater tots instead of fries too.
Nah, get curly fries.
Well, most places don't have curly fries, so
then they fail.
Most places fail. Then curly fries is a delicacy, sir. It's a delicacy. It's hard to find that.
Peace.
he's like, I'm not entertaining this curly fry conversation.